Well, James Smith is an emergency doctor and lecturer on humanitarian policy at the University College London, and he joins us live from here in London. James, thank you very much for talking to us here at TRT World. Now, there was widespread concern over these centres before they even opened. Has the reality of how they're being run exceeded those worst possible fears?
Absolutely, yes. The established UN and national and international humanitarian system had already widely condemned the proposed plan put forward by Israel and implemented through the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, as it's called. But what has actually played out, effectively, thousands of people being corralled into cages in the baking heat, only to be gunned down by Israeli forces, certainly far exceeds the worst of what the established humanitarian system had projected would happen at these distribution sites.
Essentially what's happening here, correct me if I'm wrong, is people are now having to choose between starving to death or risking their lives, risking being shot, going to collect aid. Now, you're in touch with doctors, humanitarian workers still there in Gaza. The hunger crisis, just how bad is it now? And is the aid that is being allowed in anywhere near enough?
We can't understate the crisis in Gaza right now. It is not simply a hunger crisis. It is of course, a genocide. An entire 2.1 million people are being exterminated by the Israeli regime. And one facet of that, of course, is the intentional deprivation of food, water, and all items required simply to sustain life. People are literally starving to death in Gaza as we speak. Last month, in the last few weeks of May, almost 3,000 children were diagnosed with malnutrition throughout Gaza, following an upward trajectory over the course of recent months. We now are bearing witness to a situation wherein Israel has denied the entry of essential humanitarian aid for more than 100 days now, since the 2nd of March. A minuscule amount of food and water has been permitted into Gaza, most of which has been channeled through these exceptionally violent and barbaric so-called aid distribution centers. What has entered falls far, far below what is required simply to sustain the lives of the Palestinian people living in Gaza from one day to the next.
James, you worked in Gaza yourself for almost 3 months. What needs to be done and how urgently does action need to be taken? What are we looking at here now?
End the genocide. This is not simply about humanitarian access or humanitarian aid. This is about those states that continue to finance and resource and support the Israeli regime. They are complicit in the genocide. That extends, of course, to the UK government, but of course the US, Canadian, German governments as well, which continue to support Israel. As you've mentioned in your reporting just now, a small number of the most extremist politicians have been penalized, but we must bear in mind that genocide isn't committed by one or two individuals. This isn't isolated to Benjamin Netanyahu and the most far right of Israeli politicians. What's happening in Gaza right now, the ongoing ethnic cleansing, Israel's ambitions to displace the Palestinian population outside of Gaza is a plan that is widely supported throughout Israeli society and is being enacted by its military at the highest possible level. All financial, diplomatic, military and economic support to the Israeli regime must be severed immediately, and all states worldwide have a legal, political and moral responsibility to act in support of the Palestinian people and in defense of the Palestinian people.
Dr. James Smith, really appreciate your time. Thank you very much for speaking to us here at TRT.